When we think of Mother Teresa of Calcutta, we often picture a small, humble woman with a gentle smile, whose hands were always ready to embrace the poorest of the poor. The world saw in her a living symbol of mercy and deep peace. Yet behind that radiant smile lay a profound and hidden mystery. For more than 40 years of her ministry, Mother Teresa felt almost no sense of God's presence. In her private letters, she confessed that within her soul there was a deep darkness, as though God were silent, as though he did not need her. These words did not come from a weak heart, but from a courageous soul that chose to continue loving even in silence. We often imagine that following God means constantly feeling comfort, clarity, and warmth. But Mother Teresa's journey reveals another dimension of faith. Sometimes our path must pass through darkness, holding on to God even when we neither see him nor hear him. In that silence, faith is refined. Each morning, she rose to face a new spiritual battle, not against the poverty outside, but against the emptiness within. Yet she never allowed that darkness to stop her. Instead, she transformed it into fuel to love more deeply. There was a time when she found a dying man by the roadside, his body covered in wounds and worms, his breath nearly gone. She cleaned his wounds, held him gently, and whispered, "You are God's beloved. You are loved." The man opened his eyes, smiled, and passed peacefully. When asked how she could touch such broken bodies without fear, she simply answered, "I do this not for them but for Jesus." Her actions were not driven by emotion, for she had no emotional consolation to rely on but by faith. And that faith turned every act of care into a silent yet powerful confession. "I love you, Lord." In her private letters, she admitted that she often felt unnecessary, as if even God had no need of her. Yet she did not close her heart. She offered that loneliness to God so it could become a source of comfort for those who felt abandoned. She believed that God allowed her to share a small portion of the darkness Jesus endured in the Garden of Gethsemane. When Christ cried, my God, why have you forsaken me?" he experienced the pain of being abandoned. Mother Teresa understood that cry. She embraced that darkness with total love. Her faith was never theoretical. It was a faith lived through calloused hands and weary feet that walked the foulest streets. A faith wrapped in a simple sari worn thin from countless embraces. In the afternoons, she would find abandoned children or the dying lying alone on sidewalks. She brought them to the missionaries of Charity Home, cleaned them, fed them, and allowed them to die with dignity. She once said, "A person dying in the arms of love has more dignity than dying like an unwanted animal." For her, that was a holy mass not at an altar, but in the embrace of love. Mother often said, "We cannot do great things, only small things with great love." And in every small act, a spoon of porridge, a wipe of sweat, she turned ordinary moments into living altars, because when she could not feel God, she made sure others could. That is the mystery of pure, selfless love. God's silence did not weaken her, it matured her. She felt torn between her longing to feel God and the stark emptiness that persisted. Yet she never abandoned prayer. Each morning she knelt before the tabernacle, not because she felt God's presence, but because she believed he was there. Her faith rested not on emotion, but on surrender. She prayed, "If my darkness helps me understand just a little of your pain when your love is not returned, then let me remain in this darkness as long as I can love you more." That was the prayer of a heart wholly given to Jesus. Her journey teaches us that true love does not depend on feeling. Love is a decision, a daily choice. She chose to love God even when he was silent. She chose to love the poor even when there was no reward. That choice made her a living witness of God's love in the midst of earthly suffering. She entered the darkest places because she believed that darkness is where light is most needed. She told her sisters, "We are not the light. We are only the wire. The light is God." The brightness did not come from her, but through her, shining into the lives of those most forsaken. Today, although her name is known worldwide, her greatness does not lie in miracles, but in her enduring love through decades of spiritual dryness. When prayer felt empty, she remained faithful. When her heart felt hollow, she continued to love. Darkness did not hinder her, it made her love shine brighter. Through her life, we learn this truth. When prayer seems unanswered, when the soul feels cold, God may be purifying us so we can belong to Him more completely.